the first World Monster Truck Racing title under his belt, Rod Litzau brought USA-1 to Chicago early in 1989 with hopes of repeating. But disaster soon struck, a black cloud that would follow USA-1 throughout the year. Here's how Army Armstrong and I called that first event for TV. The pursuit for a second straight national championship continues for Rod Litzau and USA-1. Now he's up against Nightlight.
Everybody keeps an eye on a USA-1 truck. Litzau, he's the king of the sport, comes out, attack the track, he's an attacker, a big bounce. Oh, he's up, he's in trouble, Scott.
That's awful slick over there, and he went into the concrete, Arm.
What? He went into the concrete about 3 or 4 feet from us. The front end of the truck is buried in the concrete wall. The wall's gone. Boy, Dave, this is a war inside this building. It's shot now.
Disaster. Absolute disaster. We started out the season, the first race of the season was in Chicago, in probably the smallest facility we've ever raced in. 4 races in 3 days. Absolutely incredible that we should start our racing season, our point season there. And Rod almost got seriously injured. He went underneath the balcony, crushed the roof down on top of him, and really messed the truck up bad to boot.
Everybody's going to keep an eye on the USA-1 Litzau. Problems a moment. Oh, look at here. He's coming on. A strong. Scott, we're in trouble down on this end.
He can't get it stopped, and again he's in the wall. As you can see, USA-1 for the second time tonight has hit the wall, but this time I think he really racked it a lot harder than he got it the first time.
So that put us, by the end of that first weekend, we're out 3.5 races we haven't been able to participate in. So we were way behind in points, and I guess from there it seemed like the harder we tried, the worse things got. We had, I think, about 5 major crashes that year. Each one seemed to get a little worse. And I remember in Buffalo, the first night we won the race, but rolled the truck over the finish line.
Ford versus Chevrolet. This one's worth the price of admission itself, Scott.
USA-1 Rod Litzau, Bigfoot and Andy Brett, they're coming at you, Army.
Litzau pulls the trigger. He's in trouble. Litzau's going over again.
Rod Litzau has flipped it again. USA-1 is on its roof again after a win over Bigfoot. Here he comes out of the truck. The Army's over there to help him out. Some of the other crew guys are there. Litzau, it looks like Rod's okay. He has taken it on its roof. Here it is again. Now watch as Litzau has to give it everything he's got. He'll beat Bigfoot by a matter of inches. But to do it, he's got to flat put it, hammer down. And when he does, and then hits the brake, he comes right over on his top. Watch the wheels lock. Over he goes. Oh, and a horrendous crash and putting it on its roof. USA-1, the defending national champ, makes it 2 in a row in Buffalo. But how much damage did he do to the truck when he went over on his roof? The USA-1 team seemed to regroup after Buffalo. A fresh-looking truck and a brash Rod Litzau rolled into Kalamazoo, Michigan, hungry to start anew. Litzau survived a breathtaking race against the Gravedigger. Then he advanced to the finals against David Morris and the Equalizer, the upstart seeking to snatch away USA-1's world title. Here was our TV call of that race. USA-1 and Equalizer Army.
Litzau comes out. He's in trouble on the end of the track. Litzau goes around one more time on his top. Oh, no.
He wins, but he wins on his roof. USA-1 and Rod Litzau wins it in Kalamazoo, but he wins it upside down.
Later on that season, they rolled it in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the second night of the race. They won the first night. They won the second night, rolled the truck. They moved on to, and the truck was just a shambles. I mean, it was just no front end again and patched up carburetors and everything was patched. Went on to Milwaukee, won the third night in Milwaukee, and then the fourth race was on a Sunday afternoon in Milwaukee, and Rod really must have been inspired because he put down a run like I've never seen in my life. We've got video and camera footage of it, and he jumped the truck. It was a good long track on an asphalt track. I think he jumped the truck somewhat. They figured 110 to 115 feet over the last set of cars. He cleared the 13 cars. He cleared the down ramp. He landed on the asphalt beyond the down ramp. Just an absolutely incredible run. But he landed so hard he broke the transmission housing in half, and so he was number one qualifier, need to say, but he couldn't come back and race in that race. So we had a lot of neat things happen to us in '89, but we could never recover from all the crashes we had. Every time no matter how much we won and how hard we worked, we just never caught up.
USA-1 expected better things after those outstanding performances in Milwaukee. The dark cloud reappeared again, however, on a cold, windy night in Flint, Michigan. Here's how we called it. But as Rod knows, one of the neat things in this sport is you run indoor, you run outdoor, and Rod has looked awfully good outdoors. Here he is again. Litzow wins it. Look out, he's gone over again. Rod Litzow has flipped it several times, and now Army is taking off down there, and several other track officials are headed down to USA-1. A terrible flip as Rod spun and hit the asphalt several times.
Well, what happened is when I went to clear the last set of cars, the back tires hit the 12th car and went inside. The car was, the seats were down, so the tires actually went down inside the car, and right when that did, the impact just shot the back end up, making it so I had no wheels on the ground. And then it just went into a forward roll, and once it went into a forward roll, it turned around, and when it turned around, it came backwards and went right down on the asphalt. And when it hit the asphalt is when it hit the door caved in and it hit my side. That's when it twisted me. From where it hit, the impact, it twisted my hip. My hip moved forward on me, it shifted. So what he's been doing in therapy is we just go in for different treatments, and he twists me back. They have to keep cracking me back. And then finally, after so many treatments I've had, that I feel good now again, and it's all back in shape according to x-rays.
At this point, Litzow had to be wondering if all of these flips would begin to affect his driving style. The accident in Flint was one Litzow is not likely to forget.
Yeah, you think about it a little bit, but if you start thinking about that too much, it's going to screw up your running, too. I never tend to roll the truck, It's just happened that, usually every time that I did roll, it was for a win, I didn't actually just roll the truck in the middle for a mix-up or something. I pushed it to the end, and a lot of times it was track faults, or, we run in Buffalo, and I hit the wet grass, and that would throw the truck off. It's things that we know would happen now. What it is the tracks. You have to design the tracks so that we can stop these. They're going so fast, and, I always do go for a win and try to pull out on the end, and just had some misfortunes there. Actually, when it happens, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. You can all of a sudden just feel the truck, and all of a sudden it starts to go, and you really don't think it's going to. It almost goes into a slow-mo. I never worry about being hurt in there in any of those crashes. The only one that I did where I didn't know what was going on is the one in Flint, where it went into so many rolls, I didn't know when it was going to stop. And that one, I didn't know what was up or down when I was rolling. But every other roll I've had, I knew what was going on the whole time.
It's like anything else. You get stiff and sore for a couple of days, but it never really bothered him too much. In Flint, when he put that, it looked like a NASCAR crash. I mean, it was flipping end over end and pieces flying. I mean, it's something that never been seen in monster trucks before. And when you take 12,000 pounds of truck and you slam it down on the tar at the end of a flop like that, it doesn't matter how well you're belted in and how good your cage is, you're going to take somewhat of a shot.